In today's video, I will be explaining why John Fetterman, in my opinion, will still lose to Mehmet Oz. Now, I know by practically all the polls, by practically every single Senate forecast, we all see Fetterman ahead Dr. Oz, but I think that Oz will still nearly edge out John Fetterman by about 1 percentage point or so. So, in today's video, I will be exploring reasons why I believe Oz will defeat John Fetterman. Now, if you just look at the polls at face value, as of today, October 14th of 2022, Fetterman leads by about 5.7% in the polling averages. However, this lead has tightened for more than 10% in just September 15th, so just about a month ago. And just look at this, you can see that Oz is definitely making some progress in the polls. Will this be enough? Maybe, maybe not. But we'll have to look and see and predict it ourselves. And look at some of the polls here. Although we do consistently see Fetterman ahead, he is ahead by like 2 to 4% in the vast majority of the polls. And there are just some polls that are outliers that are screwing these results in favor of John Fetterman. You can see a D plus 16 and a D plus 19 pollster. So that is why Fetterman is really leading by this significant of an amount. And don't forget, the polls in 2020 were way off. In 2020, on November 3rd, Joseph R. Biden Jr. led Donald Trump by 4.7% on Election Day. However, in context, on the exact same day the video currently is being recorded at, Biden actually led by 7%, more than 7% actually, against Donald Trump in the polls. And just looking at this, Biden ended up winning by 1.2 points. If we adjust that margin of error, Dr. Oz will end up win this race by 0.2 points. A very narrow victory, but surely still a victory. And looking at some of the polls did tighten on the pretty much on the month before Election Day. On October 13th, Joe Biden was already at 51.1% in the polls, and Donald Trump was under 44%. Fast forward here, you can see that Biden is at like barely over 50%, and Donald Trump has catched up to 45.6%. And some of the polls leading up to Election Day showed a much more tight race than, let's say, about maybe a month before the election. You can see how much more Democratic favoring some of these polls were. And that explains my first reason. Now for the second reason here, we'll have to go to the election shuffler. You can see that in this map is just a regular map of PA. However, Biden only won the state by 1.2 points. That is a very narrow margin, and if you look at the shift here, I shifted Philadelphia by 3 points to the left and lower turnout by 3%. I shifted Allegheny County by about 2.5 points to the Republican Party and dropped turnout by 3%. I also narrowed the margin in Erie by about 0.5 and the suburbs of Philadelphia by 2%. And guess what? Just by doing those minor changes, you can already see a Dr. Oz margin of victory by about 0.13%. Now, this is very likely to happen in this election cycle. Democratic turnout will probably drop from their insanely high turnout in 2020. Now, the Republican turnout was also high, but not nearly as high as the Democratic turnout. And now, Dr. Oz does have to do some of those tougher things. He must basically carry similar margins in the rural areas compared to Donald Trump. But if he does that, he only needs very much minor improvements from the Trump voters. And I really mean that. Really minor. Just 2% improvements could win him the state. And Donald Trump was very unpopular in many suburban voters. He was very popular in rural areas, but he wasn't that popular in suburban and city areas. So if Oz can combine Trump and some of the some Republican candidates that can win the suburbs back, you can easily see a Mehmet Oz victory in Pennsylvania. Now the third and final thing we'll have to look at the 538 Senate forecast for the state of Pennsylvania. John Fetterman leads with 71% of the chances to win this race. However, it is notable to look at one thing. Uh, John Fetterman's chances have dipped quite a bit over about the last month. Just a month ago, we can see that John Fetterman was at 83% of a chance of victory. Now he's at just 71% of the chance. Now, you do have to take into consideration that it's only maybe about a 1 in 7 drop. However, if you look at the margins here at that point in time, John Fetterman led by nearly 7 points according to the 538 forecast. Now he only leads by 3.5 points against Mehmet Oz, a full more than 3-point decrease in his margin of lead, and his lead basically shrinked in half. And looking at a lot of the polls here, we still see Fetterman up in basically all of them. However, Fetterman is only leading by 2 points in 2 of the A- recent polls that were conducted, signaling actually a good sign for Mehmet Oz. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.